Morning, everybody. We are still waiting for students to join. Meanwhile, we'll just do a quick check for sound and the video. For a clear communication, we'll keep the audio and video off for the participants. You can use the chat box to make any kind of a comment or to respond to any query or to ask a question. Please kindly use the chat box so that comes to us and we can answer them accordingly. So a quick check, are you able to hear me? My sound is clear and the video is clear. A quick response in the chat box, please. Okay, thank you. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right, I'm also trying to share my screen, so let's see if you're able to see that too. You are able to see my screen? Great, no issues. So that's good. So video and audio both are checked up. So let's quickly wait for a minute also. We still have few students joining in. Right, I've taken care of the annotations. Can you? All right, great. Right, so a quick introduction from my end. My name is Miraj Thomas. I'm the academic director. Also a management professional, been guiding and mentoring students in various career options for the past 15, 16 odd years as of now. Got an opportunity to talk to all of the students. So let's see what we can do the best for you all today. I want this entire session to be a little bit interactive. It should not be like just I speaking, talking. Bore ho jaoge aap thodi der mein. So whatever question comes up, put it into the chat box. Probably we can take it up. In general, at the end of the session, we will also have a questionnaire wherein you can put up whatever questions you want to ask, and probably we can pick it up one by one. Because if I keep on answering to all the questions, probably we would stretch the time limit which would be there. Aap bhi thoda bore ho jaoge. Right, so we'll quickly start. I hope we have 10 standard students, 11, 12 parents, teachers, all of them with us. So again, a very good morning to all of y'all. The agenda of today's session majorly is something with respect to what you need to do next or what you want to do next, right? So having said that, let's begin. So one the major question what comes up at the moment, because like we said, there might be students who just passed out 10th, or you might be in 11th standard or 12th standard. So one question which comes up into the mind is, what am I really going to do next? Can I get a good career? What all should be my subjects? Whichever subject or stream I select, are they appropriate, right? Maybe I have a dream career in my mind, I have a dream job in my mind, and can I really get there? Even if I have to get there, how am I going to get there? Sometimes we even get a feeling that whatever selection I did, is that the right choice which I did, or am I moving in the right direction, right? When will I get it? From where will I do all of these things? A lot of these questions is something which we're going to answer in today's question or today's session. Hopefully, we will also talk about two of the most prominent or successful unconventional career option in this session. We'll also talk about a couple of the cliche career options which we select, the problems associated with that. In the beginning itself, let me make it clear that there is no stream, no career option which is bad. All are good. It depends upon your skill, it depends upon your interest, it depends upon your likings, how you go forward, right? So maybe I might be talking about some issues and some problems with a couple of career options, but that does not mean that you should not be taking that kind of a career option, right? So with this kind of a thought process, and I'm sure this might exactly be there with most of the students, with most of the parents, probably even teachers and faculties might find it difficult how exactly and what all options should be expressed. So the one biggest problem that comes up is kind of a dilemma, what to do next, right? And it's not just this factor which is there in one person or in one or two of you. ये हर एक के साथ होता है. There are few who have already made some choice. There are few who have like drawn a line, like, yes, this is how my career progression is going to work out, and this is how I'm going to work. This is how I'm going to plan my stream. This is how I'm going to do my choices, and then move in that direction. फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं एक ख्याल आती है, am I doing correct, right? And that creates pressure in our mind. What I have done is I have mentioned it in a little different format. Where to go, what to do, is it made for me, is a pressure point which creates a little bit issues in the mindsets. Especially, I like person like me is like, so I express myself into that picture there. So is it really something which we need to do? So I came up with these 3 pressure points which are there, the 3 P's which we come up. The first P itself is the parents. And in fact, the students can give me a comment like, ये एक common dialogue नहीं है आपके घर में from the parents, बेटा पढ़ाई कर लो, कुछ बन जाओ, नहीं? In fact, couple of common fillers which actually come in is, गुप्ता साहब की बेटी ने 94 स्कोर किया है, तुमने 89, वाह. देशपांडे सर का बेटा 98%, आपका 96%, वेरी गुड, यू आर गुड फॉर नथिंग. थोड़ा और पढ़ लेते तो थोड़ा और मिल जाता, नहीं? Absolutely. Like again, nowadays, during this quarantine situation, in fact, I normally tell my students that this should be the best time that you feel that you have lot of attention from everybody. Since you're back at home, parents are also there, right? They have an eye onto you. Everything, whatever you do, it's there. The best part would be like your neighbor is busy. So parents like, Bajuwala is like, has already started preparing for IIT, JEE, what all kind of classes, and you are busy with your cell phone. PUBG. दिन भर देखो आप सिर्फ PUBG, phone, cell phone, social media इसमें रहते हैं, right? So that's one pressure, and it's absolutely it's actually everywhere. ये घर घर की नहीं, ये अब हर घर की कहानी है, right? But leaving that pressure, we also have a peer pressure, especially when you talk to your friends. Sometimes like someone comes up with some special course, right? Quantum physics karna hai. What are you doing? Quantum physics. Or I want to do something like cloud analytics. सुनते साथ ही दोनों कान से दुबई निकलते, ये है भी क्या? Okay. And when the question comes to you, what are you going to do? Maybe you are doing it, so I will also do it. No problem. Me and my Mitra Bandhu will both together go to the same college, because friendship is something which we cannot leave again. And then the same choices. Many times we make this. And the biggest problem or that pressure is the pressure which comes from your own end, with your nearest and dear ones, with your neighbors which are there, with your relatives. The best part is whenever you go to any of the family functions and you meet your relatives there, the questions, wow. Har ek ke paas you will get n number of suggestions, n number of ideas. But are they right? Are they the right choices? Are they the right career path which you should be looking onto? That's something which we need to decide. Till now, the decisions which we actually make are based on our scores. Like you scored X amount of percentage in your 10th standard, or you scored X amount of percentage in your 12th standard. That drives your entire career path. Maths kharab hai, so let's get on to commerce. Or commerce may be accounts or economics. Hai. So you are still bad in that, probably I'll go to arts. That's absolutely not the right way of making a choice. If you want, so if we have to look at a career choice, what are we actually going to look at? So probably from now, 7 to 8 years from now, where do you see yourself? That should be the first foresight which you need to have, that where do I see myself from 7 to 8 years from now? And for that, what do you need? 7 से 8 साल में आप क्या चाहोगे? You're going to need like a good career with loads of money. It should be like the showers you have, like swimming in a pool of money kind of thing. At the same time, you also need a good career wherein you have good recognition, a good position, and you have subsequent advancements which are having in your career. That's going to be the common goal which probably each of you might have with respect to 7 to 8 years from now. In order to get that also, what would be the requirements for the same? So, one, we need to have our education from one of the top-notch colleges or institutes or universities in our country, or probably abroad. The other part, whatever university you go into, whatever college, whatever institution you select, whichever country you are there, you need to have excellent placements with beautiful packages offered by them. That would also be a requirement to get to that 7 to 8 years. At the same time, examinations to get there should be easier, right? If I have to actually crack UPSC and then do all of these things, itni mehnat, are we really going to do that? I'm just kidding, leave it out. So in general, if the exam is easier, and if it is something which I can clear with ease without giving a lot of tension to my brains, then why not? That should be a question which should come up, right? So basic requirements, right? I mean, in requirements ke saath mein, what do we do? Now, most common options which we look at, give me a yes or no. Aren't these the most common options which come up to our brains? Either engineering or medicine, not just MBBS. Probably you talk about the entire medical line, the entire medicinal, the industry. So that would be one there. Or ye dono nahi hai, because they both come from the science stream. And if you, for God forbid, if you have left or given up science stream, then probably a CACS. And then this is something which we end up into. They are not bad. They're absolutely beautiful career options which are there. They're wonderful. If you are there, like we said, the requirement which was there. Remember, so the requirement was if you are there in the top universities which are there, and from the top university, if you look forward for campuses and the salaries from there. And again, the examination to get there is that easier. If I talk about IIT and engineering, remember this picture, Three Idiots? After going through this movie, I actually dreamt about my engineering days. Such a beautiful movie, such a beautiful way and the direction given in that part. It was really interesting. But then we didn't see another challenge. Engineering, the stream also has a slight problem with it. It is this. Entry level is like this. If you have to get into an engineering college, specifically if we are talking about IITs, right, or NITs together, लाखों लगे हैं line में. उन लाखों में से, remember the dialogue of the dean of Three Idiots. He just in the beginning he puts up the application and says, "आप इन्हें कुचल के आगे आए." So if you are one of them, who succeeded in doing that, go for it. No such place to study engineering, or probably even tier 1 colleges. लेकिन अगर नहीं है, then that's a challenge. Then what do we do? I have some numbers for you, some statistics which I was able to figure out from Google, right? So the problems with IITs and these engineering colleges, the overcrowdedness. Let me show you some figures. Approximately 13 to 15 lakh aspirants every year, they go for IIT mains. IIT JEE to exam hai, you'll write this. Now from this 15 lakh, there's only 2.1 or 2 lakh or 2.5 lakh people clear the IIT main exam, right? If you have to get into an IIT or NIT, you need to clear both mains and advanced, correct? And then finally, it's just 10 to 11,000 people who get selected into these IITs and NITs, because that's the number of seats which are available. Compare 15 lakh and 10, 11,000. For a better calculation, probably 15 lakh and 15,000 market. You can do the maths and see what's the success ratio. What about the others? And even the challenge is, if you get into an IIT or NIT, are you getting the same stream or the branch which you wanted? Probably you wanted to do a computer engineering or probably a mechanical engineering. Did you get that? No. Probably you get some different stream because the quota wise it's not available. That's another challenge. And what happens even if you get it? आप engineering में admission ले लेते हो. And then what are you doing after that? Most of the IITs, most of them or most of the engineers, they appear for an examination called as CAT for management services. That means 4 years you are doing engineering and uske baad mein you're doing a 2 years of MBA. You look at most of the IIMs, the ratio is definitely higher on the engineering side. Easily IIMs have come up with some new thing. They have come up with technical diversities, academic diversity, engineering and non-engineering. They give preference to non-engineers. Male and female, gender diversity. There are IIMs which have gender diversities. Why? Because most of the people who do it, they are either IITs and male. So there is good scope for people who are there, who are non-engineers and female candidates to get there. But then, हमने तो engineering चुनी थी. That gets another problem there, right? Look at the other stream. Let's see another stream. Wow, medicine. I wish medicine or MBBS should have been in the similar fashion how Munnabai did. If this would have been the case, this would have been very easy. But that's not the real time. Medicine is a beautiful line again, but then again, if you look at the challenges, the entire syllabus, it's a huge syllabus. First of all, you have 4.5, 5 years of your MBBS itself, but that doesn't stop there. After MBBS, most of you look forward for FRCS, MD, MS, and certifications and specializations. It takes a long time for you to actually start your career. Initial 5 years, then again another 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. So probably 10, 12 years, you are only into this kind of preparation. And again, if I have to put out the numbers, there's net about 7.5 to 8 lakh people who write NEET for AIMS and other top-notch medical colleges in our country. How many seats are there altogether? 5,000 to 7,000 seats. Again, the ratio. What about the others? What happens to the other near about 6.5, 7 odd lakh people? What do they do? जहाँ मिलता है वहाँ admission ले लिए and you become a doctor. What is the use of it? Still, the difficulty level of clearing these exams, whether that is IIT, JEE or NEET, is that really easy? I won't say it is too tough, but then yes, there's a huge effort which needs to be done. If you are the person who has that gist in you of doing it through science, go for it. But you need to look forward for these challenges also. If you have a plan in place to mitigate them, engineering or medicine should be the line which you should be looking forward. Definitely, every year, if I talk about engineers, Salana near about 17-18 lakh, sometimes 15 to 17 lakh engineers pass out every year. 17 odd lakh engineers, right? Do we have that kind of a job availability in our country? So most of the IITs and NITs, if you are into it, well done. You would get placed and you would have a decent salary packages also. But then what about these? There are near about 5 to 6 lakh doctors who pass out every year. What happened to them? Are they really placed in respective hospitals, or are they looking forward for it? At least with respect to engineering, while I was doing some research, I figured out that out of the 17 odd lakh people, there are near about 1 or 2 odd lakh who look forward for a master's, MTech or ME, the right gate examination, and then they look forward for something further. There's another 2 odd lakh of them who try writing CAT for MBA. Like we saw, most of the IITs, they go and they write this CAT examination. So you have this 2 to 4 or 5 odd lakh is gone there. Placement agar ho bhi gaya, what is the average salary which has been offered? In our city itself, Pune, if I include the top college and the bottommost ranked college, the average comes around 3.5 lakh. That's the package which you get offered. And in maybe, are we talking about 10 lakh jobs every year? No. You can't get it. So we need something wherein an option which would get me the careers with that ease. Let me take you through the third choice which we had. Meanwhile, we have a question here. So we have a question, even if we take MBBS and start a late career, won't the salary be more? What is the definition of more? Suppose I get 50,000 as a salary after 10 years. After a point of time, maybe 15 years, that goes up to 1 lakh. Look at the average from that means 10 and that 5, 15 years. After 15 years, you get that. Probably if that is something which you get after 15 years, you get now. And then, or now in the sense after 5 years. So in that 10 years, the difference of that incremental ratio will always be on a higher side. So it would be more at some point of time. But then till that time, you need to wait. And like I said earlier, if you're ready to wait, no harm into it. Now CACS, many students are looking at CACS. It's a good stream, no challenges, or there are challenges in fact, no problem with the stream. But first of all, for you to graduate, right, you almost have to go through this entire process. The huge line which you come up, right, from the entire period which you spend to get certified. Actually, आपका problem ये नहीं है. Your problem actually starts here once you graduate, because there are so many CAs available now who do not have a proper place or a platform where they can actually flourish. यहाँ से यहाँ तक you probably get into it. Now there's a change in the CA pattern also. The examination has changed. Earlier it was CPT, IPCC, and then CA final, both 1, 2. So it was a long journey. Now they have relaxed out slightly, but then the challenge is here. Once you graduate, that becomes another problem. Now, few numbers if I have to look onto, probably, first of all, the passing percentage of the overall chartered accountants is pretty less. Again, the numbers are on the similar lines. Every year, again, earlier when people used to write CPT and all, there were about 14 lakh odd people used to write this examination. By the time they reach CA final 1 and 2, there was one number which I could see in Google. It was like 42,000. From 12-13 odd lakhs, by the time they reach CA final, the numbers are 42,000. Plus last year's numbers which I was looking at. Now from that 42,000 also, right, because you just reached the final papers, the people who clear both 1 and 2, it's actually 11% of 42,000. That's the clearing percentage overall. Even in that, I had a bifurcation which I could see there. Out of that 11%, 6% were girls, 5% were boys. If you do that, like I said, still the challenge is what next after that. The CAs, when they don't get anything, again they go for MBA or probably MS in either finance or some kind of data analytics or for some higher education. Why? Because again they want to earn more. So those many years which they spend doing the chartered accountancy, and then again 2 years of management. The time again is a question there. You spend a lot of time to reach there, to make a position, to make a successful degree with you, probably a higher degree with you. Then the question comes up is, itne sare problems agar hai, right? There's a stiff competition in the IIT race. There's a late admission which happens for doctors, right? Probably they start up their career at the age of 35 to 40. And the results for your CA, they're pretty less. Then what should we be doing? And that's exactly where I come up with a new career option. First of all, let me ask you children, right? How many of you really look forward for something different than what is this normal cliche career options. I mean, if you really want that, I want to see something new, wherein there is less competition, wherein I can start my career quickly, and the biggest one, easily to clear it. Oh, I can see a lot of big lists. Exactly. Now after, thank you. I can imagine, I can see that pain also, children. I can understand that part. Two of the best career options, because there are n number of options if you look at the current moment, more than the technical side, more than the conventional career options, you have a huge set of unconventional career options. But out of that, two of them is what we're going to discuss today, and those two definitely we have been seeing that at least for the past 5 to 6 years, the movement, the growth and the progress of that particular stream, and considering the next 5 to 6 years, the development and the enhancement which can happen in these career domains. So we're going to talk about two of them. So those are, one is law and the other one is management. Robotics is good, but again, it's through science field. I'm talking about something without science field. If you are into science, and like I said, if you want to do robotics, IIT is the best college to do that. But then, apart from that, these two will give you a good platform, a good degree, a good position, the money-wise, the placements, the remunerations. All of these things can be looked at. But the point is, you do it from the right place, from the right college, in the right fashion. That is also important. जैसे लाखों engineering colleges है, like हजारों medical colleges है. It does not matter you do it from any of them, right? You need to do it from the top-notch ones. Similarly, we will have to look forward for the differences. We should look forward for how exactly we need to do this. So quickly going ahead with each of these areas. So let's first talk about the first area. Let's talk law as a career. I remember days, jahan pe, I'm talking about something 10 to 15 years ago, right? There was a time when this particular career option was not even considered. I remember a few of the parents who used to come to me and they used to talk to me, right? And the beautiful question which comes up was like, 10th ke baad kya kiya hai aapne? So the face which actually used to become like a frowny face and a sad face, arts. Kyun? Science पे score कम आया था, so we didn't take science. अच्छा, कॉमर्स, मैथ्स भी ठीक नहीं था, सो कॉमर्स भी नहीं लिए. अच्छा, तो फिर क्या लिया आपने? बचता क्या है? कोई चॉइस ही नहीं है, तो आर्ट्स ले लिए. Okay. And the child, when I spoke to the child, when we tried counseling them, we came across that the child never goes to any of the family gatherings. जाता ही नहीं था वो. घर में पूजा हो या any marriage or something like that. Why? Because the first question the relatives are going to ask is, बेटा क्या कर रहे हो आप? Arts कर रहे हो. Arts, अच्छा, ठीक है. And then the next ideology, arts करेंगे तो उसके बाद में what are you going to do? You're going to do BA or probably BTech, B.Ed, right? A BA भी अगर if you're doing, what are you going to do max after BA? So to top it up, एक काम करते हैं, आप वकालत कर लो, go do law. कुछ नहीं होगा तो भी कोर्ट के बाद you can at least open up a छतरी and you can sit there as a notary. This used to be the mindset of law. You did not get admission in any of the colleges, go take an admission in the law college, because there you'll get an admission easily. That used to be the mindset of law and lawyers. I'm very sorry if we have any lawyer parent who is there, but then today the picture has changed. Today you need to undergo a national examination to get into a law college. Even in the city, if you in the state-wise colleges, if you want to get into one of them, you have to give a state examination. Unless you give that examination, you do not get an admission into the law colleges, which is available now. So let's quickly go through a couple of things here. So when I talk about the law examinations, first of all, there are near about 32 to 34 law examinations which exist in our country. Now, the top-notch examination for that is CLAT, Common Law Admission Test. Now, this is an examination, or this particular examination takes care of something called as NLUs, National Law Universities. Altogether, there are 23 as on today. So, CLAT will take care of 22 of them. One separate one is NLU Delhi. NLU Delhi has its own entrance exam, which is ILET, All India Law Entrance Test. So two of these examinations, they only take care of these NLUs. These NLUs are nothing but like our IITs of engineering and AIMS and IIMs of management. In a similar manner, we have these NLUs for law. At the same time, there are near about 80 plus private colleges which can be taken care by an examination called as LSAT, Law School Admission Test. Similar manner, you have Lloyds, which is there, UPES in Dehradun has a different examination. In Pune, you have Symbiosis. In fact, Symbiosis is there in Pune, Noida, Hyderabad. You also have it in Nagpur at the moment, which got recently opened last year. Now, this examination is called as LSAT. Earlier it was called as SET, but now it's called as LSAT. SLAT, Symbiosis Law Admission Test. Again, BHU, Banaras Hindu University, Aligarh Muslim University, Bharati Vidyapeeth, Christ Universities, Nirma Universities. There are so many colleges which are offering law at the moment, and they all are. We got a question. Let me just check the question one sec. The benchmark of law colleges high as well. Let's see that. Why don't you see for yourself how would be? We will be talking about that in some time. So we will see to it. Maybe in 2 minutes. All right. So like I said, I took up a couple of these examinations. Not only these, there are a lot of people who want to get into to defense services, army, and other areas. So probably they can also do the same, because you have AIL, Army Institute of Law, Mohali, wherein you can get into that. JAGS is another part which you can write in and have a law and army or defense backgrounds together. That is also possible. Let me show you a couple of things pertaining to the same. I'll answer to that question, Aditya, because that's exactly where we're getting into. So these are the national law universities at a glance, if you want to see. There are 23 of them. So specifically when we talk about career launcher, we only talk about this side mainly. And NLU Delhi, because this is a separate examination. Jodhpur is also there. So we have Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bhopal, Jodhpur, Gandhinagar, Mumbai, Cuttack in Odisha, Raipur, Lucknow, Patiala, the top 10-11 colleges. At the moment, the others are also good. It's not that these are bad, these are also good. But then, if you are there with us, we want you to be there in this segment itself. Or NLU Delhi, because this again ranks at number 2nd to 3rd position. Apart from that, Symbiosis is also there. Symbiosis Pune specifically, you can find they rank within top 10 in the country, though you have these many national law universities. You have ILS, Indian Law School, which is there, which also comes under the top 10 in the national ranking. So you have a couple of private and national colleges also which come under there. You have Government Law College in Mumbai. State-wise, that's one of the top college which is considered for an exam called as MHCET. Now you need to write MHCET law for 5 years for you to get into one of these colleges. Let me get you some other information. Okay, meanwhile, I have a question there. For corporate law, can one do commerce and then law? You can definitely do commerce, you can even do arts, both are fine. You can even do science and do law. The only trouble would be if you're doing science, the academic pattern of science as a stream is pretty lengthy. Commerce is definitely good because you will have some insights of accountancy and other details. Financial background is what you would be looking at from the corporate law segment. Then definitely commerce is a good stream, and then do a 5-year LLB. Wonderful stream after 10. Now, with this law, earlier, law was a 6-year program. That means 3 years you need to do your graduation and then 3 years of LLB. Now, you can do law in 5 years and you again get a dual degree. It's an integrated course at the moment. It's an integrated program for 5 years wherein you can have a BA LLB or a BCom LLB. You even have BSc LLB and even BBA LLB. Now, if the question comes up that to do corporate law, should we do BA LLB? No. Irrespective of any of these, you can still do corporate law. It just depends upon the likings which you have. It depends upon what all subjects interest you. Probably you can take that. And in these 5 years is where you get both of these degrees, which is again saving one more year. You still have the course which is 3 years of your graduation and then 3 years of LLB, that is still there, which we call it as the old law at the moment. But then when you see the crowd, the cream crowd is where this part comes in. Excuse me. Why BBA? Why BA would be a question. Why BA, why BCom, why BSc? Like I said, mostly that depends upon, there are 2-3 factors. One is a business angle to it. Colleges have come up with different streams to be attached to law because students have likings in those areas. So one is that reason. Second, most of the national law universities, they don't have BBA. They have BA LLB at the basic. Like, for example, the number one NLU in India is Bangalore. They don't have BBA. They have BA. So why BBA could be like in the future, you want to have a law degree and you want to have some association, some knowledge, some input from a management point of view or from a business administration point of view, then probably a BA LLB would be. But it will not matter whether it's a BA, BSc, BCom. BSc would slightly matter for forensics and patent law in other areas. So BSc, a little bit of science field would be required there. But on the other hand, BA, BCom, BBA, it should not ideally matter. It should be more from your liking point of view. So like I said, 5 years in the initial, now colleges say that the first 2.5 years, they take care of your, or 3 years, they take care of your graduation, and then 2 years, they take care of your law. But ideally, in the national law universities, you would start law, something like at least one subject from the first year itself. So that would be the kind of guidance which you would have for these 5 years. Now, there was a question about UPSC. People who are studying in these top 4 or 5 national law colleges or law universities, they are actually preparing for UPSC also. For 5 years, the input which they are getting is nothing but these systems, the things happening inside it, the polity, constitution, the general awareness around things, the law itself. So that would also suffice. We will see to that in some time. You definitely need, so there's a question, are CLAT and other exams needed for integrated courses as well? You need them for integrated course only. for any, because now what you have is this 5-year law. You also have the 6-year, but for that you need to do 3 years of your graduation. Again, you have to write the exam. Now, national law universities do not have a 3-year course. They only have this 5-year course at the moment. In the future, if they start up with, then probably something different. So CLAT or any of these examinations, they all will cater you to this integrated 5-year course. Right, Anshika, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so now career options, now mostly, right, हमें एक ही area पता है. From law, if you look at it, right, the only thing we think is litigation, like inside the courtroom, and the picture of the court which is presented in the televisions and movies, this is exactly not what is there. कोर्ट में जाके कोई भी तारीख पे तारीख कोई नहीं करता है. In fact, the lawyer would be there, will be condemned of the court. Get out now. Your license is cancelled. Someone becoming Sunny Deol like that, or becoming an Akshay Kumar. But then, yes, there is fun element also into it. If you are the person who wants to be a part of it, then litigation to hai hi. Definitely, litigation as a career option is there. But then apart from litigation, you can become a corporate lawyer. Someone was asking about corporate law with commerce. You can definitely do a corporate lawyer. Not in this country, you can even do it abroad. There are so many bridge programs which are there with different countries with India, wherein you can do your law in that country. You can come back to India, probably last year, like 1 year, you can do it from NLU Delhi, and then you can register with the Bar Council also. You are allowed to practice in that country and in this country, both. One of the best universities to do that would be Flinders in Australia. That's one of the group ed universities also. Look at the salary packages which is offered. Per annum, this is what you are. This is what you would be earning. I did not make this picture. This is something which I took out from Google when I was researching about corporate lawyers. I was also shocked to look at it. Is that really an annual salary package? I was wondering that I should have been taking this kind of a decision earlier. In my times, if I would have done something like this, probably I would have been smiling like that. Unfortunately, we took engineering. Yes, exactly. It's almost a crore. And that's not something which is happening after experience and after gaining appraisals. This is what happens when they pick you up. Right. Let's look at another career option. So that's a lot of money. Yes, Rahul, that's a lot of money. We have another question, which is, can someone do law in India and become a corporate attorney in US? Yes, you can. Let me take you back there. So when you talk about US specifically, there, if you do LLB here for 5 years, then you need to go there and then you need to do something called as JD, Juris Doctorate. A certain part of the law system there is different in US. Most of the other countries like UK, Australia, European countries, there the law system is the same. So you don't need additional degree there, but some examinations will help you to start practicing in those countries. But specifically when you talk about US, there unki har cheez ulti chalti hai, right? They want to keep themselves separate from every part of the world. So there you need to go and you need to do this Juris Doctorate there. But then again, Jindal College, OP Jindal in Sonipat, they have a 6-year program, a bridge program wherein you are studying in India and you are also doing a Juris degree from US also. So we still have bridge programs in India also which can bridge US too. But directly if you see, then probably you will have to do your law here. Then there is another examination, the same LSAT which we saw. So there are two types of LSAT. You have LSAT India for Indian private colleges, and you also have LSAT Global, which is governed by the Law School Admission Council US. If you give that examination, clear it, then probably you can do a JD, a Juris Doctorate in US. Computer engineering also have that same amount of salary. 25,000 is what they've been offered my child at the moment. Computer engineers. लाखों पड़े हैं, एक सामने बैठा है आपके, लाखों है. You have one or two who have like sustained, like, yeah, if you are there again with an IIT or somewhere like that, then probably one of you might have that kind of salary level. Not the crowd which is there. One of the major reason is पूरी भीड़ वहीं भाग रही है. Most of them want to do IT and computer engineering. What is happening is there's not too much capacity to the basic package which top-notch college. There are law firms which are there. Like I'm talking about the private law firms. Like I'm sure, have you seen this? These serials which are there, Suits. Has anyone seen this? No? Yes? Like the KD Patak, some. Okay, is my voice clear now? Are you able to hear me? Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me check. Okay, all right. Just let me know in case if you find any difficulty in hearing. Immediately let me know. Probably might be because of the network or something. Right, so I still don't remember that name which we Adalat. Oh yes, I recall that now. So probably Suits would be a better version of Adalat, I can say. In fact, an improvised version also. Many a time when you see these private firms, there are institutes like Amarchand Mangaldas in India. I'm talking about Amarchand Mangaldas, Luthra and Luthra, Tri-Legal Services, AZBs. These are private law firms which hire students. Now, these are top law firms in our country. They hire students from these NLUs. They train them under some particular renowned lawyer or a solicitor altogether. And for that training and for that branding, they still pay them near about 10 to 15 lakhs. Internationally, if you see, probably they'll go up to something 20-25 lakhs. If the interview and if things go well, probably 15 to 20 lakhs to be trained under somebody. You get that kind of a package. Look at some other professionals. You have so many consulting firms, audit firms, right? For example, KPMG is there, EY, Ernst & Young, PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. These are audit firms. I mean, audit firm what do a lawyer do? What is the need of a lawyer in an audit firm? Probably you need a CA, probably you need a financial analyst, you need credit controllers, auditors. Why do you need a lawyer there? Let me tell you, every law firm has a panel of lawyers with them, because all these non-compliances and audit things which come up, if they have to be completed, if that stream has to be closed, you need a legal assistance. Without a lawyer, you cannot do that. So these law firms, financial institutions, consulting firms, they hire a battery of lawyers with them. All of them. Not just the corporate industry. Even these consulting firms will have. Why would you get paid? I didn't understand, Rahul, your question. You get money for being trained under a specialist. Yes, you get money for getting trained under the specialist because you're working for that particular person also. Right? So you have these law firms also which exist. Okay, did we skip one page? Okay. Are you familiar with legal process outsourcing? Have you gone through this particular word earlier? Suna is bare mein? Have you heard business process outsourcing? What's the other name? Like call centers, right? What do things happen there in call centers? Like businesses which happen in another country. There are people sitting in our country and working for them. In the similar manner, we have KPOs and LPOs also. I'll leave the KPO aside. LPO is a legal process outsourcing, wherein the cases which are fought in those countries, the documentation and drafting of those are sent across to our country. Because documentation and drafting is pretty costly in their country. For a lower cost, to save some money for profit margins, they outsource that particular part to India. That means you are sitting in front of a computer. There are many legal process outsourcing industries which exist now. So you are actually sitting in an office, sitting in front of a computer and doing drafting. Because to do the drafting, you need to have that law sense. And the money which you offer. I remember Jindal, OP Jindal is one of those institutes which does 75% of their placements to these legal process outsourcing organizations. What a beautiful packages they offer, because most of the packages which is there, they're not in Indian currencies. उन्हें 25 से 30,000 सालाना मिलता है. 25,000 to 30,000 is what they get a year. The difference is it's in pound. Right. Again, a huge amount of money which they get in. Then there are even these parent organizations which exist in these countries. So the one which is there in our country, the outsourcing organization would be a sister concern company. So these parent companies, they actually see that there are employees who are working here for 2-3 years. So for a better profit, they pick these employees from these sister company and they place them into the parent company in their country. For a lawyer, for the employee, profit, because they'll be paying 2-3 times more. For the parent company, it would again be profit because they might be paying 5 to 6 times more to the organization, the legal process outsourcing organization. They might pay half of that to us. So both are in a win-win situation. Another career option. I heard pound. Yes, exactly, Rahul. It's in pounds. Sterling pounds, specifically mentioned. Uske alawa kuch hai nahi वैसे भी. Right. What other career options? So someone was asking about civil services and UPSCs. Let me give you some numbers again. There's a good, if I have to talk about, let me take the top 6 national law universities. There's a good number of people who go and write civil services every year. The analysis and statistics say near about 69 to 72% of people from that crowd, from those lawyers, clear civil services in their first attempt. Someone who is looking forward for civil services, law would definitely be one of the best options to go on to. And a recommendation from our end also. And someone who is really interested, then probably NLU Delhi would be one of the best. वैसे भी दिल्ली की हवाओं में civil services घूमता रहता है. So that would still be one good platform, a direct visibility to the system. And not just this top 5-6. In fact, the other universities, IILs also from Pune. What they teach you for these 5 years is again more or less 80-90% similar to the examination, to your civil service examination. That definitely helps you into that. So again, a good option. Iske bhi alawa, you can still become judges. Judicial services is still there. Earlier, you had to wait for a couple of years, gain experience in multiple courts, and then do it. Now, after 5 years of LLB, you can directly write JSC, Judicial Services exam. you can directly get into to the judge line. Either ways, there's again another option. If nothing, you are a person who is interested in teaching. You can get back to academics. You can start teaching. You can be a professor. And these professors are also heavily paid. Let me tell you that. You can have public sectors. You can join army, like I said in the beginning. Okay, one sec. Is it better now, Pradeep? Is the voice clear? Okay, thank you. Now, in order to get into these, now I mentioned about law as a CLAT as an exam. So let's see the pattern also. It's a 150 question paper with 150 marks, right? Unfortunately, in 2 hours, so you have 120 minutes to solve the paper, and with a negative marking of 1/4. So it's not that easy either. But if you look at this entire pattern, what you have is English, and it is more comprehensive. Then you have some part of maths, general awareness, then logical reasoning and legal. The two major sector is GK and legal. Now, looking at this pattern, we probably feel that, okay, there might be something. Let me show you something more in detail, like what exactly is asked in these papers. For English, like for 28 to 32 questions, what would ask you is, they'll question you on reading comprehension. They'll question you some part on verbal logic, like something called as parajumble. They'll question you on vocabulary. Now, even when we say vocabulary, it's more of comprehensive and contextual vocabulary than the normal one. And then grammar. Abhi aap bataiye, haven't you been studying all of these things since what? Till 10th standard? Definitely you have studied these things. Hai na? Yes, of course. Ek kaam karte. You are saying you have studied. Let me do a small test for you. I'll ask you the meaning of few words. You need to tell me an appropriate closest meaning to that. Okay? Are you able to see my screen? The first word, chattel. Without Googling, without searching it into Google, can someone tell me the meaning of it? Fatafat, A, B, C, D. Now, honestly, how many of you Googled that? Okay, yes. It is exactly correct. Immovable personal possession. Okay, no problem. Let me ask another one then. Let's see. Interstate. Come on, let's see who can answer that. Fast. Don't know. It's a legal terminology. Okay, we got again a lot of answers. So yes, it is again. Interstate is someone who leaves a will without leaving a will, someone who dies without writing a proper will, such kind of legal proceedings which happen in those matters is called as interstate. Right, that's good. So we have something there. Slightly difficult it would be, but then there are ways to learn it. There are techniques which we teach people to learn these vocabulary. Root word technique, for example, wherein people are able to remember a lot of words and use them in their day-to-day conversations, and even in that matter to remember these words. Now, maths. I'll tell you what. Now, almost we have 50-60% of the people who come to us to study, I have termed them as mathophobians. People who fear maths, a new terminology from my end. But then if you look at the topics which are there, you tell me percentage, profit, loss, simple interest, compound interest, time, speed, distance, averages, probability. Aren't these questions, aren't these topics something which you have done till your elementary level? You all have studied these things. The only difference is, like I have told you in the beginning, 150 questions in 120 minutes is a problem. You don't even have a minute to solve a question. That's where people go wrong. And the challenge, because we solve mathematics in a very contemporary manner. But there is always a different way of solving it. What we call it as a magical mathematic or a logical mathematic. Why are we talking about it? Let me try giving you a small question and see. Okay, I'm going to put up a small mathematical example. So be slightly attentive with the question. I have a farm. This is my farm, right? In this farm, I have some horses and I have some hen. Unfortunately, in my farm, I only have horses and hen. They are the only two things which I have. Now, when I listen to the question again carefully, now when I total up their heads, horses and hens, I have 60 heads. And when I add up their legs, I have 144 legs. Now my question is pretty simple. Tell me the total number of horses in the farm. Let's say 60 heads, 144 legs, total number of horses in the farm. How soon can we do it? Come on, children. We don't even have a minute to solve a question. Okay. I am talking about we did some mistake, I think, people. How did you get 49? Okay, chalo, let me show you something. So I think Tarun was the one who had mentioned up the equation out there. So Anchika got 18. We'll see that. We'll see to it. So basically what would have you done is probably you might have considered horses as X. Probably you might have considered hen as Y, right? And then the equation which Tarun has put up. So with respect to the heads which are there, so we might have taken X plus Y, the horses plus hens together, 60 heads. And then we can equate it similarly for legs. Now, if it is horse, we need to consider 4 times because they have 4 legs, and for hen, they have 2 legs, so 2y, and then probably do the mathematics. So maths which comes up would be the answer. It will not come, it won't be 62 or it won't be either 18. It's not even 29. Can someone do that maths and tell me what's the correct number before I get you a logical method? Oh yeah, so someone finally started getting answers. Yes, so it's 12 horses, finally. Oh my God, are we really going to take this long time to answer a question? Yes, exactly, Nandita. Thank you. Okay, let me show you a logical method of doing that. Right? This is something which we have learned in our school, and we've been learning it. Probably we might be learning it in the future also. But in the proximity of time, if I have to solve it, let me think it logically. I have 60 heads. That means altogether I have 60 animals, hen and horse together. So if I consider that all the animals in this farm, they are hen, right? I mean 60, all of them, they are hen. And if I say that if it is hen, then the total number of legs which they might have would be into 2, because all are hen. So into 2, that should be what, 120? But I have 144 legs. If I see the difference, it should be 24. So ये difference आया कहाँ से? The additional 2 legs of horse. So if I divide that by 2, I get my answer. A different way of solving that problem altogether. Instead of doing that entire X, Y, equate and then solve and then probably come up to it, I can do this mathematics in my brain. 60, double it, 120, 144 is what was given, 144 and the difference, right? And then probably what is the extra which is there? I get it. Okay, if you want to use something, let me give you one more calculative method of doing it. Some small calculation tricks, right? Let's see something. How familiar are you with squares and square roots? Pretty familiar? I'm sure by now what you might know. So let me ask you this. How much is 2 square? Fatafat, chalo. 4, okay, very good. How much is 4 square? 16, great. How much is 8 square? 64, great. How much is 11 square? 121, great. 25? 625, great. Okay, so probably if this way you remember them, because there is some up to a certain level you remember it. But if I ask you a square of a bigger number, what number should I ask? Okay, 989 square. What is this? Come on, try this now. And let me see how much time. Try whatever method you want to try. I just want to see how much time you take. No using calcs, please. No calc, no Google. Try the normal method and see how much time you take. Whatever trick you want to apply, you want to try. Okay. So this is a plus a minus b the whole square. Okay. Abhinav did the a minus b the whole square. So what are the other methods which the others do? Sanjeevani, Arna, Kalpita and all. How did you solve it? You solve it, you did this 989 into 989, or you tried the just multiplied it itself. Abacus, okay, all right. Now if I would have to solve this, I'll solve it with a little weird method for myself. Now some trick. Now what would I have done is, what is the number that we have? 989, right? See the time which you might take to do this. 989 is the number. Which is the closest 100 multiple for 989? 1000, right? Very good. What is the difference between them? Like you did the a minus b, so the difference is 11. Fantastic. What is 11 square? 121, right? Let's subtract 989 minus 11. 9 minus 1, 8. 8 minus 1, 7, and this 9. Is this the same number that you got? 9, 7, 8, 1 to 1? Absolutely. There is always a different way of solving problems. there is always a quicker method of solving problems. The problem itself is we stick to the conventional methods. 36 seconds exactly. In fact, if you know that, it would be within your brains. You can easily do it, right? Okay, let's move on. We are running short of time. So logical reasoning, again, what people question you would be puzzles, blood relations, something which you know and something which you also need to practice further, which we teach a couple of these things. So these are something which you might learn in your 11th and 12th standard also. That's a logical reasoning. Which is difficult for you? Maths is difficult or logical reasoning? What are you good in? I'm not even asking nothing. Don't worry, Rahul. Come meet me separately. Nothing se both ho jayega jaldi. Both are kind of easy. Maths difficult. Okay, both are easy. If both are easy, let me ask you something. One more question. Quick one. Or got tired? One quick logical question. In fact, I'll ask you one question which was actually asked in one of the symbiosis examinations. Ready? One quick one. Okay, all right. So, how many of you play chess? Or how many of you at least know how to play chess? Or at least how many of you have seen people? Okay, most of you. Very good. Excellent. Right? Fantastic. So this question is again based on a chess game. So listen to the question very carefully. This is a chess, or there was a chess knockout tournament. It's a knockout tournament and a chess tournament, right? And we have 64 players who had come to participate in this entire tournament. Chess tournament, it's a knockout tournament. Even if you lose a game, you are out of the tournament. That's a knockout tournament. And in this entire tournament, you have 64 players who have come to participate in this tournament. Good to hear? Okay. The question is pretty simple. Tell me the total number of games played in this tournament. The total number of games played in this tournament. Quick. Wonderful, Tarun. Great, Advait, great. Big brain. Okay. Now tell me, how did you do it? You applied mathematics to do it? Yes, absolutely correct. 64 players. I will be the winner. Okay. Now, mostly what people do is this maths. So 64 players will play with each other, right? It would end up with 32 in the first round. Again, they play with each other. 16, second round. 8, 4, 2. I'm sorry, I missed out the last final game. So 12, 14, 15, 21, 2, 23, 2, 3, 5, 6. So people, most of the time, they go with this method. But I'm glad that you still have a lot of y'all who said that you still apply logically. That is exactly correct. In a tournament, how many winners can be there? Only one, right? कितने लोगों को घर भेजना है आपको? एक winner चाहिए तो. It's a knockout tournament. Every tournament, all are going back. 63, exactly. We don't even need maths. Questions sunte saathi. 64 players. I just need one winner. I need to send the remaining back. Fatak se. Even like not even 1 or 2 seconds, that answer should be there. Again, the problem is we think even a logical problem mathematically. If they're asking you a problem in a logical section, then it should have some logic into it. If they wanted to ask in a mathematical fashion, they would have asked you in that probably in the quant section, right? So that is exactly what is important to clear these kind of examinations. Then again, you have legal topics which are there. So these are topics which you need to study separately for law. Constitution, contracts, torts, criminal law, family will run a little bit. I'll skip up this example at the moment. Or do you want to do the legal example also? I'll quickly read it. So what you get is you get some principles and facts questions. So the principle says the right of self-defense extends to causing death, death if one's life is in danger. ये एक principle दिया है. They've got a question, just a general question. Do we need to remember all the laws? No, beta, you don't need to remember all the laws. You need to understand the law. For example, like this, the principle is already given. That is a part of the law. The right of self-defense extends to causing death if one's life is in danger. And they have given a beautiful story there, right? The story goes in this particular fashion. एक गांव में you had a notorious dacoit Samba, who was a very wanted person who had killed many criminals, and one fine day there was a police officer, a dabang police officer, chasing Samba, and on being summoned or surrounded by cops and everything, the inspector aims into the dacoit, but the dacoit turns around and shoots the inspector, and the inspector dies on the spot. The last part was that the inspector died on the spot. So, does Samba has the right to self-defense? So, in the other way, should he be convicted? Should Samba be convicted? इसे फांसी देनी है या नहीं देनी है? देनी है. Okay, he should be. See, exactly is the problem. This is the problem. We are trying to become lawyers already, judges already here. I only have a principle given, wherein it says the right of self-defense to causing death if one's life is in danger. So my context of looking at a question should only stick to the principle. How do you know that Samba is a dacoit? Just because a police officer said. Has the court determined it? Because in the court of law, there are many other law points which is also included into it. That you cannot point out to a police officer, you cannot shoot at him, lot of things. But yahan pe, you only had that principle. That is where that question of that bacha comes in, that do you need to make or remember all the laws? No, you just have to look at what is written, what is given to you as a principle. What is given to you, you have to apply that onto the fact. And is the right of self-defense available to Samba? Was his life under danger, causing death? Yes, it was. So he under self-defense, he acted. So according to this principle, yes, he did. But did I get any principle that you should not kill a cop? Ye hame pata hai, because you know the law. You need to reason the law here. That is where this legal prospects come into it. Most of the people who come in and study, इन्हें यही हम सिखाते हैं. आप law सीखने जा रहे हो, and the entrance exam which you are giving is to learn law. You don't have to learn all the law and then give the exam. There is a way of looking at these things. So that's exactly what we teach. So don't get confused with it. Like I said, there are a lot of other law points and cases through which the court gives a judgment, and we only had one principle in front of us. That's one of the reasons why in this case, yes, he had the right to self-defense. Quickly moving on, then we get the normal GK in current affairs. Let me tell you, the majority, almost 80% of your paper is current affairs. It's not static GK. So 80% of the paper would be current affairs. 4B, 6 to 8 months of current affairs. So that's one of the reasons it will be much easier on the side. That's why we call this examination comparatively easier than the all others. Before I get on to the management sector, we'll finish up the management sector in time. That's a very small section. When you look at these segments, all of them are something which is interesting, but you cannot learn it by heart. You need to learn the skills behind it. Both the examination, the management examination and this examination, they're not a memory-based exam. Competitive examinations are not memory-based exams. They are skill-based exams, something which I keep on telling children. And that skill has to be developed. You cannot develop a skill in a day or two or a month. You need practice. Logical deduction is also probabilities which can be looked onto. Syllogism is the other name for logical deduction, just to let you know, Medansh. So you need some time to practice. Earlier, the better, because most of the achievers, they always start early. Moving on to management now. Again, this management is also divided into two parts. We have an integrated program in management now, wherein directly after 12th standard, you can do MBA for 5 years. I can't call it MBA also 5 years. It would be 3 years of your business administration and 2 years of your actual flagship MBA from either IIM Indore or IIM Rohtak. Now there are two IIMs which offer this program. They are called as IPM, Integrated Program of Management, wherein directly after 12, you need not have to give CAT examination. You directly can get an admission into these colleges and pass out after 5 years with the actual degree from the IIMs. You don't need, yes, if I have to answer to that question for CAT entrance, is there any early foundation? The first one would be to prepare for BBA. You will have to prepare for BBA entrance exam or BMS entrance exam, because that would be the base of it, the generic part. All entrance exams, or for example, someone who is studying with us, we consider that you are at 0. And that's where we start our preparations. So we'll be starting any kind of preparation from basic. Now at the same time, if we look at why this program has to be taken, like I said, it's a direct entry into IIM Indore and Rohtak. It saves the time of giving CAT. You need not give CAT. If you want to get into IIMs, you can directly do that. And at the same time, your competition is not against 2.5 lakh. It is just against 17,000 people. The number of aspirants, I forgot to tell you, the number of aspirants in law is 50,000. 45 to 50,000 people write law entrance examination, CLAT examination every year. Compare that 50,000 with 10-12 lakhs. 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh people write CAT every year. Compare that with 17,000. The possibilities of clearance is more. So we also need to see how easier the exam, what is the availability, what are the chances of we clearing it also. And money. We get a lot of money. The average salaries which you get from IIMs, either way, management salaries are always high. There have been times when salaries have even gone up to, I remember I've heard about IIM Ahmedabad once offering even 3.2 CR as a salary per annum, 3.2 crores. That was an international package. When converted into Indian currencies, it was 3.2 CR. 100% placed means every student in that particular, most of the colleges which are there doing IPM, IM from IMs, all of them got a job and they are placed and they got placements. That's what it means. When you are into INR, right? Yes. Indian currencies. If you are a part of IMs, you definitely get a job, unless and until you want to do entrepreneurship, you want to open up a business of your own, a startup of your own, you will get placed from an IM. That's the beauty of these IMs. Whether you are into an IM Indore or a Rohtak, or probably even higher. Now, this is yearly. I would love to do the job wherein you get 20 lakhs per month. There's no such job legally. So with this, one more part is there. If you are into managerial, if you have these kind of degrees, if you're studying there, you directly jump into the middle management level. You can skip the initial production level and the first line of managers, and you directly have an entry into the middle manager. This is the pyramid of management table, and you can get here directly with these. So you can skip a lot of time. You can have better opportunities in the coming days from here till here. 1 crore per month is crazy. If 1 crore is crazy, like I said, there was a time when IIM Ahmedabad had offered 3.2 crore per annum. Look at the companies which come and hire from the. You have banks, right? You have software organizations. You have mechanical companies. You have cell phone technical companies. You have FMCGs. You have online organizations. You have again another FMCG, construction organization. So many sectors. So many. All of them are brand names. All of them. And they even offer beautiful packages. It gets a privilege to even work with these organizations. And these are the ones who come for placements in IIMs. So why not be a part of the IIM directly, assure a seat directly after 12? Some of you might be even there like I cannot be a part of anyone. I need my own business, my rules, my way, highway. You can be an entrepreneur of your own. You can start up your own business. So there are so many opportunities which are there. Acha, if not IIMs, we were talking about different exams also. I'll talk about the same. What are the topics which are there? So you have only 2 for IIM Indore. You have maths and English. And then you have a personal interview and a written ability test. The name of this entrance exam is IPM. IP MAT is the name of the exam through which you can get into these colleges. So IIM Indore has a different exam and IIM Rohtak has a different exam. For IIM Rohtak, you have one more additional subject, which is reasoning. For IIM Indore, you only had maths and English. So at the moment, there are only 2 IIMs which are offering this. Probably in a year or 2, there might be multiple IIMs which can also come up with this kind of an integrated program. For sports management, you have multiple colleges which are offering sports management. Directly after 12th, no, then probably you need to do a BBA and a BMS and then write CAT and get to do sports management. Just to add on to it, if you're looking at sports management, try not doing it from our country, try doing it from abroad, because the opportunity and scope is much higher outside our country. Most of the other colleges, so NPAT is for Narsimhanji, wherein they offer you again an integrated program of BBA and Masters in Management Studies. They also have BSc Economics, BCom Honors, so through NPAT you can even do that. Symbiosis examination is also something which you can give. Christ University, SPJ also has a 4-year management program. So other alternatives are also available if you're studying that. In fact, not only that, if I say you studying, if you see the subjects, English, logical reasoning, maths, current affairs, or general knowledge. I'm skipping the legal, because legal, if you even add legal, then you are able to do law exam. Legal hata do agar, you can do entrance exam for any of the management colleges, because BBA entrance exam, the syllabus is the same. For IPM, you have a slight higher mathematics which you need to do. So a little bit more emphasis on maths, but again maths. If you look at liberal arts, if you look at mass comm, if you look at hotel management, if you look at economic segments, all of these unconventional areas, they all have a common syllabus and they have a common structure. So probably if you're confused about what to do in future, 2 of them is what I would recommend, which has a good scope in future. But still, if you want something more, like I was talking about, liberal arts is something which is coming up. Mass media is something which is also good. Their entrance exam is also similar. For example, in Symbiosis, it's the same exam which you need to give, SET, for all of them. So why not study something common and increase the opportunity of different domains? Probably plan A, B, C, D, all of them together can be something which we can actually do. So, but when it comes to preparation, you also need to remember one more fact, that only few of you or few of us get to the top. Not all can be there on the top of everything, right? But then each of us has that aspiration to be there on the top. If few are there on the top, for others, the remaining, you are at the mediocrity level. And aaj ke date mein, in the current situation, excuse me, or the upcoming ones, there won't be any chance for any of the mediocres which are there. I think I got a question. Someone is asking to answer it. 1 second. Yes, Anshika, let me check your question. Management in what context? Is it like company manager in corporates? Management, you look at any corporate industry, you have the productions, you have people working, you have people controlling them. That's the first line of management. Then you have the middle management controlling it. People who organize it, even a CEO or MD of an organization is from the management department. So people who are there at the higher level of any organization are called as the management bench. And to get to there, you should be having a management degree. An easier way of getting into it. Should BMS be preferred over BBA for sports management? First of all, BBA, BMS, BBM, BBS, all of these are different nomenclatures which are given to management. For example, a BBA from Symbiosis or a BMS from Xavier's Mumbai. They both are management bachelor's degree. It's just the different nomenclature given to it. It does not matter if it is a BBM, BMS or a BBA. It matters which college gave you that particular degree, graduation degree. And after that, how well did you score in CAT examination and which sports management college you are there to study. Probably what I would suggest, Bhuvan, is why don't you get in touch with me separately? I'll prescribe a couple of international colleges which is offering beautiful sports management. I'll share my number also in some time. Right. So ideally, in fact, I also remember a line from Pauline Coover about this. Pauline Coover about mediocrities. That's a beautiful line which I read and I thought I would share it with you. The life of a mediocrity is a waste of life now. So probably if you're doing something, it's very important that you do the best. So can we get a job after doing BBA? Definitely you can get a job. That's one of the reasons why you need to be a part of these top-notch universities. You should be. So it's time for us to think different. It's time for us to work on a different angle. Like Steve Jobs also comes up with his tagline, different. We'll have to start thinking something differently. What type of job? You will get management related job. So there are multiple domains in management. There's a finance management, there's a human resource management, operations management, production management, brand management, visual management. Like this way, whatever suits your personality, that kind of a management, like sports management, telecom management, communication management, right? All of these things are there in the management industry. Whichever segment you do and specialize, I recommend after a BBA, definitely go for a higher certification. Definitely do MBA, because nowadays it is required. There are different types of management available. Mass communication, again, there are multiple jobs. You can look forward for journalism from mass comm. You can look forward for content writers. You can look forward for creative advertising industries, film industries, things which can be done at the back end of the film industries. So a lot of opportunities are currently there in the mass communication sector also. Interior designing. Now interior designing, the two types of it if you look onto it. If you want to do it through NATA, then probably you would require a science field, and you need to clear the examination, and then probably that line. Else, if you just want to do a fashion designing, interior designing separately, unconventionally, again, they have this examination. Symbiosis has one of them. The pattern is similar. Depends upon how creative you are. If you're there, you need to do something best. All right. So quickly trying to end it up, something about career launcher, since we're talking so long. An organization which is there for the past 26 odd years. In Pune, we've been there for the past 20 odd years. We've trained near about lakhs of children every year, and nearly send most of them across to the top-notch universities. In Pune, we have 3 centers. Across the country, we have more than 225 centers located in multiple cities, 170, 80 plus cities at the moment, more than 3,000 plus employees across the nation, and then thousands of students sent across to NLUs and IIMs and top-notch universities from our end. Because at the moment we train on all of these unconventional areas. We train you on all the law entrances, we train you on all the management, mass comm, economic related, hotel management, liberal arts. So any of these unconventional areas, we train them onto it. So we have a 2 examination pattern, and we also have a 1 year pattern. So we recommend most of them for a 2 year, because earlier the better. You get much time for you to practice, because when you are in 12th standard, it will become difficult for you to bridge a balance between your academic and your entrance exam. Because most of your admissions, which is going to happen, it's through entrance exam. It's not through your 12th standard grade. But that does not mean that you're not going to score in 12th. So we recommend a 2 year program for most of them, so that easily and in detail is something which you can study. People who are good with language, I can also suggest linguistic as one domain. French, probably. Mass communication would be a good area with multiple languages. So PR or interpreters, linguistic department could be in areas where language can be looked after. So what qualification requires for being an architect? You need to do NATA, clear architecture, BARC, Bachelor of Architecture is the minimum one which you need to clear. You want to do, so the best one to do is through NATA, that's what I'd suggest. Take science, science is compulsory for that. So you will have to get through that. We done? Okay, so this is the result for 2019. Okay, this is only for Pune, so look at the numbers. From Pune city itself, there are more than 45 children who are in NLEs. In fact, there are more than 50 children. The number is 52 if I'm not wrong. GLC and ILS, there is 36, 21. LSAT, at the moment, there's near about 9 of them. This is a little old information probably. So out of a batch of near about 150 to 200 odd children in different multiple batches in different locations, 50 to 60% of them are already placed. If you look at the 100% group, almost all of them would be there in the top 15 colleges of that particular domain in the country. So, like for that, like I said, probably we'll have to start a little early, continue and bridge a balance between the two areas so that your academics is also going smooth. At the same time, your preparation for your entrance exams are also smooth. Okay. So, 3 centers that we have, any one of them which is closer to you, probably you can visit them or call them for any information that you need. We have one at FC Road, then we have one in Aund, and we have one at Bangad. Alrighty. So any other questions? Oh, I can see a question, sir. For doing MBA, should we start the preparation from now? Because if you want to do MBA, probably you should start IPM now. Because through IPM, the initial bench, it has already been created. The 3 areas which you need in CAT is already been questioned in IPM exam. The IIM Rohtak already questions you. For that matter, if you get through IPM, then it's always good. After 12th, you directly have an entry. If you do not get it, you would still get an entry into one of the BBA colleges. And your initial preparation of that entire set is already ready. Probably in the second year of BBA, you can start up your CAT preparation and your basic is already done in IPM. So it would be much more easier for you. So my recommendation, if you want to do MBA preparation from now, probably start with IPM. For coaching, do I have to come to the center or is it also available online? At the moment, the offline classes are not there because of the restriction. All the sessions are happening online. Once we get the approval, the sessions will start offline. And if you want to talk to one of us, probably you can call on one of those numbers, or probably you can call me directly. Probably I'll share my number also. You can call me or you can call one of those centers. If you Google up Career Launcher FC Road or Career Launcher Aund or Career Launcher Bangarden, you'll get the details. Does your organization have courses fully online, as I live very far from the 3 centers? Yes, Anshika, the courses are online at the moment. And even when the programs become offline, when the centers open, we would still continue the online, because I don't think, first of all, we can open up very soon. Second, the feasibility of everyone coming together is not that good also, or suggestible also. So even if some people want to come, we will do offline. At the same time, that offline would also be offline. It'll be together. Don't worry about that. So online, offline will go hand in hand. All right, any other questions? We'll take questions for the next 2 minutes. Will you be sending contact details in the email? What I can do is contact number. So this is my contact number. Probably you can call me directly, what you see. Or you want me to go back to the contact number slide, I can. So this is the contact number slide. If you want to take it down, probably you can take a screenshot. And at the same time, I'll send the contact details of the centers and other things to your school coordinator, and they can share it with you all. And these numbers are also available in Google. All right, you there. Or you can take down my number, 9960601514. Most of the time I am busy with sessions and other things, so I would suggest write to me, and probably we can, or I can call you back or text you back, or you can even write down to Pune at Career Launcher. We will look onto that. The slide is not visible. Okay, I'll type the number there. 9960601514. This is my number, and this is the email address. All right, it was nice talking to all of you all. All the best for your future, and in case if any of you wants to have a further discussion with me, want to discuss anything personally, feel free to call me, feel free to write to me. Probably we can fix up an appointment and have a discussion with you separately also. All right, thank you and have a wonderful weekend and all the best for your future.